and welcome back to the Everyday Patch. It's been a couple of weeks since my last update, and honestly there's been lots going on in the garden. Things are growing really well and quickly now, so I've just been filming little bits as I go. Here, as you can see, I'm repotting up the cherry and the plum tree from the front because they dropped the fruit. These are only young trees, so I didn't really expect them to produce much this year, so I thought while they've dropped the fruit I'll take the opportunity to pot them up again so that they can focus that energy now into the roots and growing up, I suppose. So with these plants, all I did was the usual. I layered it up, I put the twigs, the straw, and then added the compost and just popped the bulb of the tree, the root ball, right up to the soil level, so I didn't bury that in any deeper. You don't want to do that because you will rot the base of your tree. And I did that with both the cherry and the plum, so just a layer of sticks, a layer of straw, and then repotted it right up to the same level. It has been such a busy week, and again I do apologise from camera angles. I have purchased a tripod, so hopefully we'll get some better camera angles on the next video. Another one of my jobs was emptying this monster into the tub you can see here. So this has got holes in the bottom. So the plan is to fill it with sticks, straw, and then fill it with the sloppy mud. So from the rain that we had a couple of weeks ago, it just gathered because there's no holes in that like pool thing. The idea of the pool is that it's going to be a pond when I get an allotment. So yeah, I spent about 8 minutes shoveling this in here. So I've just sped up the video for you because nobody wants to watch me shovel sloppy mud for 8 minutes. So basically I just filled this up same as you would with anything, all the sloppy mud, and by the time I was done doing this I could actually see the water draining out the bottom, so I knew it was working. And then I topped it up with a little bit more compost, and then I decided that with the little seedlings that kept popping up all over my crop plot, which were little pumpkin seedlings, I saved as many as I could, and I've just left the rest. They can do what they want to do. So yeah, once this had drained after a couple of days, I planted in the pumpkins, which you will see in a minute. As you can see, it's looking a hell of a lot better now. It's got a little layer of compost on it. It's drained out a little bit more. So I put 2 pumpkin plants in here that I'd managed to be able to get up from the crock pot, like I say, with the roots intact. I did pull a few others, but I ended up just snapping them, so I thought, right, I'm just going to leave the rest. If they grow, they grow. If not, then they don't. It's fine. So I thought, if I put these 2 in this bigger tub, hopefully that we might even get some little pumpkins this year. I also companion planted these with some marigolds, and I will do another sowing of lettuces and things like that around it in the next week or so. Also this week, as I went shopping, I picked up some mint to make some mint custard, and I decided with the rest of the pack that I would strip the leaves off the base and try and replant them, because I mean, if we can get a free plant, why not? So I did a bit of an experiment. I did 4 stems inside a pot with some compost. Now I didn't have any rooting powder, so I just shoved them in and I did water it and stuff. But I did find that the pot here wilted, and the mint, it didn't root, it didn't do anything. They were just sticks of mint in mud. But I did also do a little pot with water and put some mint stalks in there, which I knew would work because I've done that previously. So yeah, this is obviously me potting the mint into the tub, and just strip those last few leaves off and then pot it in so that it's got a nodule under the mud. Maybe I didn't water mine enough, but I know people have done it this way, and I've done it this way with things like lavender and rosemary and stuff, but yeah, it just didn't have it this time. And here's the ones that I popped in the water. So we'll update on that again later. These are my black zucchini plants. So as you can see, the male flower is slightly thinner on the stalk, and has got a slightly thinner pollen middle. And the female, you can normally already see the fruit like behind the flower. And the female flower has got quite a big pollinator in the middle compared to the male. So you will tell the difference, just in case there's not many bees around or you just want to be sure. I just then, like, as you can see, I peeled those petals back on the male one and like a paintbrush, just paint it onto that female stem. And that has worked for me for the past few years. I've never had an issue. The only issue I ever have is if I don't catch the female flower in time, and then my fruit spoils. But for the most part, I catch them, and this method works. Just a little update here on the mint. So as you can see, this was a couple of days in, so you could see the one in the pot was already like wilting and things and starting to look a bit droopy, whereas the one in the water had started to root and was looking still quite fresh, probably even fresher than when I got it out of the packet. So all three of those have gained roots, and that's within probably about 5 days. And like, I was just topping up this water, changing it every couple of days, and like I say, just watering the potted one in the mud, but it just didn't seem to enjoy that environment as much. And here is a completely different day, because as I say, I was just been grabbing clips as I go of me doing my normal everyday gardening jobs. So this is my chilli and my sweet pepper plant that I've potted up. Now these are staying in the house this year, because normally when I put them out, they end up shriveling and not being happy about it. Because it's all right when it's hot, but then we have a day where it's not so good. And so yeah, they're staying in the front window this year. I will get some, I've ordered some smaller supports for them though, because the one that I used in this video to pop them up isn't really doing the job I hoped it would. So I have ordered some smaller ones of those. So same as usual, just get a bigger pot, make sure that it's a good 2-3 centimetres wider, deeper, wider and deeper. And then I fill it up. Again, with the chilli and peppers, you don't really want to be burying the stem too much, because they won't re-root in the same way that a tomato would. And same again with your what do we call them, with the shoots, with the side shoots that come up with your chilies and your peppers. If you pop them in water and keep an eye on it, they should re-root, and then you could get a couple of extra chili plants and sweet pepper plants. But if you didn't want to do that, you could just take them off or leave them on. Everybody's preferences are different. Whatever floats your boat, as long as it floats. Yeah. But I tend to pinch mine off. If they're quite big, I will try and re-root them and maybe pass them to a friend or something like that. But to be fair, we don't really eat chilies. I'm just growing them for the fun of it. Just to see if we can. We'll pass them to friends and family. We'll probably make some chili flakes and things. The sweet peppers, the guinea pigs will have, but I've never successfully grown them. This is the first year I've got quite a big plant, so I'm quite excited for that. Hopefully we'll, even if we just get some small sweet peppers for them, that would be great. I like to think, especially with a lot of my plants, the squashes and things like that, I'll pick them small and get plenty of them rather than waiting for them to fill out and be big, because a lot of the things like courgettes and zucchinis and the sweet peppers and the salads, the guinea pigs will eat. So if I can pick them often, and the beans and things, it keeps that crop coming continuously. And it's served me quite well so far. Even with the cucumbers, I like picking a few baby cucumbers. Can't go wrong with a baby cucumber. I have also potted them up, but they are due to go outside, so I'm hoping when I put them outside this time they don't shrivel, because this is the second round for this year. But yeah. As you can see, I'm fighting with the trellis there. It's too big. It's not supporting the plant properly. It's meant to be intentionally for supporting the fruit, but it's just too big. So I've ordered some smaller ones. but they've done all right on these stands, I suppose. They've not done too bad. It stopped them from leaning over too far anyway for now. And I also, as well, with me, my broccoli and cauliflower. So when I first planted these as seeds, I had 2 of each. Now I planted out 2 of them, 1 broccoli, 1 cauliflower, on the last video, which would have been about 2 weeks ago. Now my broccoli started producing florets already, so that's why I'm now transplanting the second one. You can see the root ball on that is quite intense. So I do this to keep it smaller, to stunt its growth, so that I can have one a couple of weeks behind the other. I've also done a couple of fresh seedlings in the house, so that'll be in the next video of me planting them out. And Isaac's sunflower, because he decided to join the sunflower race a little bit late, but he can do his own race on his own, I suppose. So this is the broccoli, and I also did cauliflower in this little video as well. And that's the same process: stick, straw, mud, compost. And again, a couple of little marigolds and bits and bobs. And then I will, like I say, this week on my next couple of garden jobs, I will be putting out some more lettuces and things like that, and just to keep the flow going. Because then as my first ones start seeding, and my next ones will be ready, and then I think it's just easier. Like, I think every 2 weeks, if you just go out with your seed packets and just sprinkle a few out, and then what grows grows. So when I was looking through the garden earlier, I noticed that in my leek planter there was a celery growing, and I was like, where did you come from? Because the actual celery seeds that I planted haven't sprouted. So I was like, okay, but that's gardening for you. You just got to go with the flow. Let it happen. I've just left it there. If it's happy, it's happy. And there's my tiny little cauliflower there. So again, I did the same with that. And I have just put it in a pot because my plan of action is, if it gets too squished, I want to say, in that pot, like there's not enough room for it, if it needs potting up again, I can do that easily enough. But if I put it in a bigger pot too quickly, it'll grow too quick, and then I won't have enough room in my garden. It's getting difficult as it is to sit in there. And so here, 2 weeks on, is my mint. So as you can see, it's grown some really big roots there. And as you can notice as well, it's grown those from the node area, from where I took the leaf off. So you must make sure that you leave a long enough stem when you've took those leaves off, because that's where the roots are going to come from. They're not likely going to grow from the bottom. More than likely the bottom's going to start to rot in the water. You can snip the bottoms off once it's rooted like that if you wish to, but I don't, because let's face it, this is mint. So now that it's got those roots, once I've put it in the soil, it's about containing it, not helping it grow, because it will just go absolutely crazy. So again, I've just got, I think this is about 15cm pot, and I just put a couple of sticks and a little bit of straw in, just to help fill it up and help with a bit of drainage. Compost on top, and then I put all 3 of those in this same pot, because my hope and my plan is that will then take over this pot, so that by the end of the season I can split that pot into like 4 different ones, and then be able to do the same again and pass friends, family a pot of mint for their gardens, as long as they keep it contained. So yeah, just breaking up that compost. I mean, this took me 2 weeks in a bit of water from the mint that I'd bought from the shop that I was buying anyway, which now means that I'm not going to have to buy any for the rest of the summer. Well, for the rest of the year. So I wanted to fill that up. What I did is I just shoved my finger in it 3 times to make little places for the mint to go into. And then, like I say, it will spread itself about that pot through the year. Like I said, the other one that was in the pot originally, the leaves were all wilted and everything. It was so funny to see, because obviously the stem then has to try and draw the water from the mud, whereas with it being in the cup, it was there already, so it promotes that root growth just that little bit more. And just a little bit of water there, what was left in the cup. That's everything for today, I think. I'm just going to do a little bit of a garden walkthrough. It's crazy how quickly things are changing now. I absolutely love being able to look back and see what the alley was like a couple of weeks ago, because the colour that's popping in it now, it's brilliant to look back and see that progress. And I'll keep sharing all the little updates, things grow, and hopefully we'll start seeing some more harvesting soon. I've been able to get a couple of little bits of beans and lettuce and things like that. But hopefully we'll get a good yield or something soon, and I'll do a little video of that. There's my sweet peas there. They're looking absolutely amazing. So beautiful, the colour that just pops from them. And hopefully we'll be able to get some seeds from the celery, and potatoes are flowering too, so there'll be a harvest with those soon. Thank you all for watching again. I appreciate everyone that comes along and watches. And this is the obviously the front. We've got a few tomatoes swelling up there, looking quite good. That's a golden sunrise though, so they're meant to be yellow anyway. And there was lots of strawberries, but we've basically been eating those as they've been ripening. So which is usually the case. And our sunflowers and some more tomatoes and plenty of flowers, of course. There's Isaac's little tub. So we did have watermelon in this, but it's been eaten. So we put a few lettuces and a marigolds, a few other bits in. And he's planted another watermelon seed in the house. So we'll see how that goes, round 2. And there's our tub that we did earlier. It drained really, really well. It was looking quite good. I have noticed in my back garden there's been a few plants getting nibbled on. And funnily enough, more so in the area where the net is. So I was like, I might just take the net off, and then it's just going to be easier for me to access. But anyway, there's some more flowers there popping up on our squash plants. Squash and courgettes. And as you can see, it is getting a bit busy in the garden. We went from having lots of room from when I organised it to having none. I also bought a little fountain as well this week. So that's been nice to sit in the garden and hear some water running. As I say, as I recorded this video, I noticed that there was a lot of nibbling going on my plants. But what are you going to do, eh? Right, thank you all for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. I will leave you with the little image of my new fountain. And I will see you all next time. Thank you again for watching. Please like and comment. Let me know what you've been up to.